Okay, so let's launch over here. I think we are holding Rav Sheshes. It's about 10 lines, 11, 12 lines down on 23A.
Okay. Yeah.
Rav Sheshes. A lot of Hanukkah Torah today.
Mm-hmm.
Rav Sheshes. Everybody see the spot?
I've got it. Thanks.
I count from the top. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12. 12 lines from the top. Rav Sheshes, Achsanya Chai b'ner Chanukah. Just because you're staying at somebody's house and it's Hanukkah doesn't mean you don't have an obligation of Hanukkah. Says the Gemara. You also have to light candles. Rav Zera, Meresha, what about Rav Zera? What did he do when he was not at home? When he used to study in yeshiva of Rav, he used to pay where he was boarding. He used to give him a few coins at the house where he was boarding to be a partner in the oil for the menorah, and that way he could fulfill his mitzvah through the host. We see a proof from here, by the way, that the Shiva of Rav, the great Amora Rav, had no dormitory. If he had a dormitory, he wouldn't be boarding at somebody's house. But in the meantime, once I got married, Rav Zera said, what did I do? Look, I have a wife, the Hashta. I don't have to, if I'm traveling, I don't have to participate in the candles in somebody else's house to come Malki Alai Big Goy Basi. Right? I can fulfill my obligation because the mitzvah of Hanukkah is near Ishu Basi, a person and his house. So if my wife is lighting in the house and she has a mitzvah, she can be moti me, and I can fulfill the mitzvah that way. So very interesting. The commentaries are quite interested in this discussion, but what actually is the halacha? Because we know, let's say for example, that Reuven decides to he's out the first night of Hanukkah, and he says, look, he calls home. He says, honey, light the menorah with the kids and have me in mind. And that's what she does. And then, whatever, his meeting ends or his flight's canceled, and he comes back home. Is look, I can light my Hanukkah candles. So this amongst this question, is he allowed to light Hanukkah candles even though his wife already lit with him in mind? What do you say, guys? What do you think? He's the man of the house.
Yeah.
The man of the house.
But he asked her to do it for him.
He asked her to do it for him already. Yeah. So the Truma Sedeshin.
So what kind of respect does that give to his wife?
That's an interesting question also. But obviously, if he wants to do it, and if it's a mitzvah, I'm sure she'd be pleased if it's a mitzvah for him to do it. Yeah. The Truma Sedeshin, who was someone named Yisrael Isserlin, he was born in 1390 in Germany. 1390. Unbelievable. He's a
Seems like yesterday. For some of us.
Tomorrow's also going to seem like yesterday.
No. Today's going to seem like yesterday. Not tomorrow.
Anyways, what did they say? Time keeps on slipping into the future?
Yes. You know that one, Nord.
Yeah, Steve Miller Band.
Uh-huh.
I was just a little boy.
The true suggestion, he says, look, I don't see why not. It says we saw earlier yesterday that there's a mitzvah of mahadrin min mahadrin. What's mahadrin min mahadrin? That every person gets to light their own candle. So the fact that his wife lit doesn't preclude him from lighting his own candle, because if you want to do the mitzvah in the ideal way, you should light your own candle. Mm-hmm. But later, right, his Talmidim, he had a couple of very prominent Talmidim, so they don't understand his reasoning. Because the mitzvah of Mahadrin min Mahadrin is if everybody's home, everybody lights their own candle. But there's no case in the Gemara where your wife already lit for you. You still have the mitzvah to go ahead and light. And it comes out, this is quite a long discussion in the commentators. What would be the correct thing to do? And the Marshal, who was someone named Shlomo Luria in 1510, picked up this discussion from the Truma Sedeshin or Yisrael Isilin, and he said, "No, I don't hear it. The Mahadran is not the Gemara's case. The Gemara's case, we learned on Friday, is only a case where everybody's together. Once he lights, he doesn't have a mitzvah, and a person, right, who lights when he doesn't have an obligation to, the Gemara has not nice things to say about him. So the outcome and the modern commentary says he's going to light, even though his wife already lit for him, he should do it without a bracha. And that, he says with the Marshal in 1550, when he wrote it, he said that is the minhag Ashkenaz. If you happen to ask your wife to light for you, and it comes that you want to light yourself, you can light yourself, but you don't make a bracha. Okay, Reb Shua ben Levi. Reb Shua ben Levi said, "Kol hashemonim kul yafil ner." All oils are good for the ner Chanukah. What would be ideal? Shem zayis min ha'muchar, but olive oil is really the ideal oil. Omer Abaya, Mereisha have mahadr mar amishcha d'shumshumim. Abaya said, I used to go, Mar means his master. Who was Abaya's master? Rabba, his Rebbe. I used to go looking for my master to find sesame seed oil. Why? It draws very well. From the wick. But came to Shamli Hadar Rabbi Yeshua, when I heard Rabbi Yeshua say about olive oil, Yeshua ben Levi, Mahadra Mishcha Dezesa. You should look for olive oil. You know what's nice about olive oil? The flame burns brighter. So I'm gonna look for olive oil by Ner Chanukah. Omer Rabbi Yeshua ben Levi Kol Shimonim Yafi Ledoyo. Now it's a related discussion to olive oil, which is that you can use any type of oil to make dye. And but olive oil is the best. So when you make dye, Rashi explains you take a glass container and you light a fire under it. By lighting the fire under the glass container, the smoke of the glass container will blacken the glass, and I guess you extinguish the fire and you scrape the blackened soot or whatever you call it off the glass, and you add oil to it. And from that blackened soot, you have some type of a compound you can use for dye. So the Gemara says the oil is good for dye. What does it mean? Is it oil? The olive oil is good for dye if you making the fire to make the smoke that goes onto the glass, or is olive oil good to put into the mixture once you scrape off the blackness from the glass to make the dye?
Yaakov,
yeah.
This translation says ink. So were they talking about for writing, or were they talking about,
The ink to make ink, right? The dye, the pigment for the ink. We mean to mix together with the I guess the scrapings in order to make the ink, or the ashon, or to burn, to make the smoke according to make the blackened part on the glass. So let's see. Tashma the Tani everything's good for ink. The Shemin's eyes, minimove hard, and olive oil is the best. And what do we? It's the best when ben legaben ben la'ash. Doesn't matter. It's better to mix with it, and it's better to make the smoke. Rabbi Shmuel bar Izutra Masni la learn like this. Hachi hakol. All smokes are good to make ink. In other words, to blacken the glass. The shemen's eyes minimum muvchar, but really the best one is olive oil. We have one more. And then it comes out with one man, the Omer who says no. The oil from tree sap is better to make the pigment than olive oil. So it's machlokes if you want to make your own ink, if you want to use olive oil smoke or you want to use tree sap smoke. I guess we can try it out maybe if we go on a fishing trip or something this summer.
Yeah.
When you light the Hanukkah candle, you have to make a bracha. Even if you see them, if you're walking in the street and you see their Hanukkah, you have to make a bracha. So, just seeing the candle, if you didn't light them, you can make two brachas. But a madlik, if you light the candles on the first night of Hanukkah, mevarach shtayim, right? We have three brachas. We make shechianu, we make al hanisim, and we make on the candles, right? We make shechianu, we make on the candles, we make al hanisim. But then you don't make shechianu anymore. You only make al hanisim and on the candles. My time is. So the person who sees it, why does he make a brachi? What bracha does he make? The person who just walking in the street and sees it. So ma'adzman, right? He makes it on the day, right? So he says, he says shechianu. Nays. Why does he make it on the nays? Because every day the time comes for Hanukkah. So I make a shechianu. But the nays I can make every day because there were 8 days of the miracle. So my mevach, what is the bracha actually that we make when we light Hanukkah candles? Right? That's the blessing. Blessed is who gave us the mitzvah to light Hanukkah candle. Where did he command us? Where did he command us to light Hanukkah candles? The pasuk says like this: you shouldn't turn Yamanu Shmuel. You don't turn to the left or the right. What is that referring to? Not to turn to the left or the right of the rabbi's enactments. The rabbi enacted making a bracha, so that's why we do it. The rabbi said do it, and we do it. Is at the end of Zos bracha. Ask your father and tell tell the elder. Listen to the elder, maybe. Right, so from there we see that we have to listen to the rabbis. It's referring to Mustatin, Mevarchin Olav, Muzaman Olav. We said about Demai. We're trying to bring a raya that we have an obligation when the rabbi says, "Oh, look at that."
Good morning.
Doctor.
Wo Haltman.
We're holding in the second wide line on Chaf Gimel Amud Aleph.
Chaf Gimel Amud Aleph. Okay. Chaf Gimel Amud Aleph. Second wide line. Okay. Thank you. So everybody okay?
The Gemara's questioning. The Gemara's questioning. How do we know that we have to listen to the rabbis? When the rabbis tell us to make a bracha, we make a bracha. The Gemara says the second line, Masav Amram. Boy, you can make an error with demai. Now, demai is produce that belongs to an amaretz. So demai means of what? It's questionable. Did he take the trumas and ma'asos or not? You can use it for a sheet of ma'avois. Rashi does a very interesting shot over here. How can you use questionable produce? Questionable produce you're not allowed to eat. But the rabbi said that because it belongs to an Amaretz, he probably took the Chumas and Maisis, but he might not have. He probably did. So what do we use another svar? What's the svar? That an ani is not prohibited from eating the maid. Because this chashash, this concern that maybe the Chumas and Maisis weren't taken, we don't impose that on an ani because he's hungry right now. And the rabbi said only for a person who's not hungry right now. So even this person right now who wants to use it for his eruv, or wants to use it to make the group, right? We use food to create an eruv for the shita for the mavui in front of his house, so the kids can play out in the street, in the cul-de-sac. A mavui is really a cul-de-sac in front of people's homes, and they use it to create a unity amongst them to show that it's really their joint space, right? It's common area in the condo, so to speak, right? So how can I do that? Explains Rashi, because at any moment he could say, you know what? I give up all of my possessions. If he gives up all of his possessions, he makes himself into an ani. And since any person in any moment could mafkir all of his nechasim, he could give up all of his possessions and make himself an ani, a poor person. So we make him a poor person right now. We assume that if he needs it, it's as if he's poor right now, even though he didn't give up all of his possessions. He can make a bracha when he eats it, muzam and olav, and he can make a zimun together with 3 people on demai. And if he takes the hafrasha, he wants to take the separation from the demai because it's questionable. He could do it naked. He could even do it erev Shabbos. The Erev Shabbos, it's a suffix, and mostly, but it's not a strong enough suffix to stop us. It's more of a vadai, so you can do it Erev Shabbos right before sunfall. You almost call him in the Rabbanon. If you want to tell me it's in the Rabbanon by bracha, you have to make a bracha when you do the whole demai, the whole institution of demai was from the rabbis. If he's naked, how can he make a bracha? More answers I'm sorry, the more asks. You're not allowed to make a bracha when you're naked, right? Clearly, he has to be clothed. So what's the more mean? Right. It needs a bracha. If it's a necessary, if it's a definite thing, the rabbi said make a bracha. But here, it's a questionable thing. Did the uneducated owner of this produce take the tithes or not take the tithes? And what do we say? Most do take the tithes. So it's that tithes. So it's actually a very weak suffix. We're asked if that's the case. On a suffix, we don't make a bracha. What about the following case? Hayom Tov Sheni Sabbath B'Vehem a bracha, the second day of Yontif. That's only an institution created by the rabbis because of a suffix of the proper which day was Rosh Chodesh. I would make a bracha. The more answer is Hasam Kihechid Lo L'Zil. That's because it looks strange to come to Yontif if you don't make a bracha. But even though it's a suffix, we do make a bracha. Rabbi, no. What's the reason we make a bracha? We don't have to make a bracha on the demai. Since most Ami Aretz do take meiser, it comes out it's not a real suffix. It's not a real suffix, and therefore, right, since it's not a real suffix, they probably took it. That's the reason I don't make a bracha. The meiser was probably taken. What about back to Hanukkah? You have a house on the corner. You have a house on the corner. There's 2 doors. And one entrance from Spadai and then one entrance from Heath. You have to put candles, one on each side of the house. One menorah on each side of the house. And Rabbi says, that's only if it's on, right? If you have two entrances on 2 different streets, but if it's all on Spadina Road, then on Spadina Road you only need 1 menorah. Even though you have 2 entrances. My time. What's the reason that I might need 2 on? I have to have 2 if it's on a corner of 2 different streets. People will say, look, the guy's not keeping the mitzvahs. Right? People will talk about it. Which concern, which chashad, so to speak, are we speaking about? Which concern? If you're talking about the regular people, not the people of the city. So then even if people who are not from the city, if they come to the place, they don't know who lives in which entrance. So each entrance to the house should have a menorah. Because people will say, look, here's a mezuzah, but there's no menorah. So the guy's not, the guy's mevatel a mitzvah. If you're worried about the people in the city, even a person with his house on a corner should only have to light on one side. People know that's Chaim Yankel's house, and they know that they don't have to light on two corners. The more answers, certainly the concern is about people in that city, right? And what? Maybe they'll pass on one side of the house, and they won't notice that the other side of the house, and think to themselves, what side did they pass on? They passed on the side that wasn't lit, and they won't think to themselves, oh, I remember that he has a door on the other side, and they'll have a chashad that they didn't light. And that's the reason we should, right? That's the reason that maybe he should light if it's on a corner on both sides. Right? They'll say, look, he didn't light on Spadina, so he probably didn't light on his street either. More asks a very interesting question. When do we find this idea of like worrying about what people are going to think? So I want to take a little side tour over here, because this is actually not such a weird question, because we find it in the Gemara in many, many places. Many places that the commentaries say that we do worry about what people are going to think. We're always worried about that, right? That a person, the pasuk says, "V'hisem nekiyim Hashem u'Yisrael." We have to be pure in the eyes of God and in people. If we're going to do anything, Morris Ayin we call it, doesn't look right, we're not allowed to do it. So what's the Gemara's question? What do we mean? To what people are going to think? Doctor, are you there?
Oh, yeah, absolutely. Yeah, I'm just very quiet, pensive, and thinking.
Doesn't it ring a bell? What are people going to think? Yeah, we're asked, what are people going to think? It's not an uncommon question. And here's the Gemara says, when do we find, what do we care what people are going to think? So the Chacham Tzvi, a rabbi named Tzvi Ashkenazi, so for all the rabbis we mentioned today, not in the Gemara, were Ashkenazi, Chacham Tzvi says, look, what is the chashad? What would be the concern? The concern is that a person walks by your house and he doesn't see a menorah lit, and he doesn't know that you have a door on the other side. Right? It says, look, that's not my problem. I have a mitzvah to light at the entrance to my house. The fact that he's not aware that I have another entrance to my house, that doesn't have to be my concern. I lit it already. And he doesn't know the halacha that perhaps there's another entrance to the house and I can light on that entrance to the house. I shouldn't have to be concerned about that. I shouldn't have to have such a chashash. And therefore, it's not a real chashash, this idea of only lighting at one door on Heath Street and not lighting on Spadina Road also. It's not a real concern, because the fact that people are uneducated shouldn't bother me. And that's what the Gemara is really asking, is how can this be a chashad? He lit already. He lit at one of his doors, and that's his obligation. The fact that they don't know that he has two doors, that shouldn't be his concern. Fine. Rather, Tzvi Ashkenazi lived in 1656 to 1718. The Chacham Tzvi. He studied in Greece, in Salonika, which is interesting. I visited Greece not long ago, and Salonika was a big port city, and it survived until the times of the Germans, and it had about 35,000 Jews. They have a museum in Athens commemorating the Jews of Salonika, because that was the second biggest community after Athens, was Salonika, and they had a big yeshiva there. And Tzvi Ashkenazi went there, and he liked it. And I guess there were a lot of Sephardim, and so the idea Chacham Tzvi is only a name given to Sephardi rabbis. But he was an Ashkenazi rabbi and managed to have this word, the appellation Chacham Tzvi, stick to him. And after his tenure in Salonika, he basically went to Amsterdam and became the Rav of Amsterdam, where he stayed for not for as long as he wanted. Believe it or not, they had a machlokes.
Surprise there. I think there's still some Jews in Salonika. I was there in '61, and there was some Jews left over.
I know that a very, very small handful survived, but it was like
essentially wiped out.
Dozens out of the 35,000. They really wiped it out. And it's supposed to be beautiful. It's supposed to be beautiful, I think.
It was like up on hills. It was pretty.
Yeah, it's supposed to be beautiful.
Can we just flip back to the doctor for a minute? I just want to see the lighting above his head is quite beautiful this morning. Can you say something, doctor? No, looking at the camera.
Wow.
Yes. It is beautiful. My wife has decorated the house and very nicely. Thank you.
No, it's the light above your head. It's the light above your head that's fascinating.
It gives you a glow.
Yeah.
Oh my God! Keep it up, guys. Don't stop now. You're on a roll. I like this.
Okay, so we're back to the Gemara's question. Are we concerned about what people are going to think? And the Gemara says, yeah. We'll look from the case of Peah. Peah is the corner you're supposed to leave in your field, right? When you're harvesting, you're supposed to leave it over till the end. What if I want to do it now? You know what? I have some extra time. I'll leave over a corner. I'll leave over some spot in my field, and I'll tell the Aniyim to come. The Gemara says, no, you have to wait till the end of your harvest. Let's see why. You have to put it at the corner of your field, and you have to leave it to the end of the harvest. What are the 4 reasons? We're going to say the 4 reasons, and then more is going to explain each one. One reason, because you don't want to steal from the aniyim. Number 2, because you don't want the aniyim to be waiting around. Because people are going to say, that's what we were looking for, that particular reason. And about tichla, it says, don't cut the corner of your field. Let's go through the mid-gezel aniyim. What does it mean to steal from the aniyim? He'll wait for a moment when nobody's around. He'll pick up his cell phone and he knows a couple of guys in the neighborhood that he really likes that aren't so financially well off. And he'll say, guys, come today. Today nobody's around. Take my peah, and 3 guys come and they take it all. Maybe even her relatives. He could say, if we don't leave it over to the end, he could do his mitzvah in the middle of his harvest, and he could pick out certain aniyim to take it. And what does the Torah say? No, it's not up to you to pick the aniyim. All the aniyim who want to come are allowed to come. So you can't make a special ani day, so to speak, in your field and let people come. It's got to be as soon as you finish the harvest. What's the other reason? You leave it to the end, and you can't do it at some other point in the harvest. Over the dab, because you don't want the aniyim to wait around and say, wait, maybe today is the day that he's going to make his afrosha. Maybe today is the day he's actually going to distribute it. So if you do that, the aniyim will wait around and they won't be I guess worrying about other things they have to worry about. So the aniyim they're not going to sit and wait to guard over until the day comes, because they know. Normally, they can just wait till he's harvesting every day, and when he finishes, it'll be our day. Maybe today will be the day that he'll leave over the corner. And also you have to leave it over until the end of your harvest. And people that pass by won't say, if you did it in the beginning of your harvest, call the aniyim and say, come take today. And then you're finishing your harvest, people will say, look, this guy finished his harvest and there's no corner left over. He doesn't even do it. This is what we're looking for. We're looking for people that have a chashad, that have a kind of concern. What's a better word, guys? A suspicion, right? You have a suspicion. And it allows us about tichle, because you're not allowed to cut the corner of your field. Now the Gemara says, what do you mean about tichle? They're all because you're not supposed to cut the corner of your field. Because in the end, there'll be guys that say to do what? They'll cut their whole field, and the aniyim will come and say, what about our corner? He said, oh, the corner? Yeah, you missed it. You missed it. It was last week that I finished the corner. And I guess, I don't know, it seems funny because you figure the aniyim pay attention, but I guess, maybe each field is remote, or maybe it's small. I don't know. But Lamaisa, Peah has no shear. A corner can be, the size of your Gemara, and a corner can be the size of your whole field. You can just take a little corner for yourself. So I guess it was a thing that depended on a person's heart, what he felt he was able and was proper to give. So we are concerned about the chashad, and the chashad over there in the case of the Neros Chanukah, it came out that it wasn't such a concern because people should know. Redifa, very uncommon name. Redifa means actually like to go down, so it's an interesting name. Maybe he was very humble. If I have a candle, a container that has two wicks protruding from it, but they're separate. How we do it today? You can imagine a top on a container that had two places for the wicks to go. In other words, it's not a Havdalah candle. Havdalah candle will be possible, but if it can go out of one earthenware hole and another earthenware hole, two separate wicks, clearly separate, and Reuben and Shimon want to light their menorah in such a container, right? So then we say it works for two people. And if you fill a container with oil, put a cover on it, and I guess out of like a pot, out of the pot, on each side of the pot, there are wicks coming out. So then each person could light his own wick and make his own menorah from one pot, as long as they're covered and they're clearly separated. But if you just leave the pot open and you have a bunch of wicks in a pot, also come in Madura. That's like a torch. And a torch, if you not even one of them is going to be Yotzi if all the wicks are perceived sort of together in the same drawing, from the same fire. What if I have the following situation? A person doesn't have enough to light his Shabbos candles or his Hanukkah candles. Which one takes precedent? This is Meforsh and Shulchan Aruch. You have to light the Shabbos candles. Why? Commentaries bring down that if you have no light in your house, right, then people bump into each other on Shabbos, and it creates tension in the home. Also brought down there should be light in the house in order to create the feeling of splendor. The great celebrations have a lot of light. So the Ner Chanukah, number one reason is because they bring Shalom Bayis. What about Ner Beis of Gudshayim? What if you can light the candles in your house or buy the wine for Kiddush? Which takes precedence? You won't be able to make Kiddush because you don't have wine. So we say Ner Beis of Mishum Shalom Beis because it says better to have the light in your house because it brings to Shalom Bayis, the peace in the home. That's an additional question. Similar. Ner Chanukah, what if I only have for Ner Chanukah or to make Kiddush Friday night? Which do I buy? The wine or the candles for Chanukah? Look, we say every week I make Kiddush on wine. So maybe that's Tadir. We have a cloud like this, a principle. Something that's regular, something that's irregular, like Ner Chanukah. The regular thing takes precedence, right? And it's practical. That's a very practical halacha that applies everywhere. Or perhaps they say no, Ner Chanukah are greater. Why mishum nisa? Because Ner Chanukah are a revelation of the miracle, right? We remember the miracle of Chanukah. Maybe that takes precedence over the fact that Kiddush comes regularly. After he asked, when did he answer? When did he say Ner Chanukah mishum nisa? Certainly, Ner Chanukah takes precedence because it reveals the miracle. I guess no one should know from it. Should always have wine for Kiddush and candles for Hanukkah. But if you didn't, the person doesn't. You see that Ner Chanukah takes precedence over Kiddush Friday night. People that Rashi learns wants to mean he's meticulous in looking after his candles for Shabbos, his candles for Hanukkah. What'll happen? I'll have children that are Tamil Chachamim. Rashi uses a pasuk. What's the pasuk Rashi brings? He says, Ner mitzvah Torah or, because Ner, the candles are a mitzvah, and what comes from them? The light of Torah. So it's a direct proof from the pasuk. If you light your candles with care, then you'll be merit to have children who are Torah scholars. Hazar mezuzah. What if you're careful, very particular about having the mezuzahs properly, beautiful ones on your house? Probably when we mean a beautiful mezuzah, we're talking about the cloth, what's inside, right? The case is important, but the real mezuzah is what's inside. No, you'll merit to have a beautiful home. Zar b'tzitzis. What if you're careful with tzitzis? Talis. No, you'll have a beautiful talis. Zar b'kiddush hayom. You're careful to make kiddush in a beautiful kiddush cup, good wine. You'll merit that your barrels of wine will be full. Ravhuna used to go to the door of Rav Avin. He was a carpenter. I guess he was working, and I don't know why they said he was a carpenter. He wasn't working, but when he finished his work, it was already Shabbos, it was already Hanukkah, and he saw that he was very meticulous in how he did the lights of Hanukkah and how he did the lights of Shabbos. And he said to him, he said, I know this tradition. Rav Huna said like this to Rav Avin. He said like this, 2 great people are going to come from you because you were so meticulous with the light. Because it says, near mitzvah Torah, or when you're meticulous with the lights, you have the light of Torah comes to you. So what were they? Idi bar Avin, who came from two rabbis that we hear all the time. Idi bar Avin and Rabbi bar Avin, two famous rabbis, were sons of Rabbi Avin because of how he's meticulous with his Shabbos and Hanukkah candles. Now, they are the debate. Either it was his father or his father-in-law. The Rev Shizbi, the father of Rev Shizbi. Right? He saw that he was very meticulous in his candles. He says a great person is going to come from Rav Shizbi. I guess it was before he was engaged to his daughter, Rav Shizbi, or Rav Shizbi wasn't Rav Shizbi yet. Exactly the story here, but the commentaries are interested. How come Rav Huna blessed him with two great scholars, and over here, right, he only got one great scholar? So the answer is, he only was careful. You only saw him being meticulous either in the Hanukkah candles or the Shabbos candles. In the first case, he saw that Rav Huna was meticulous. Huna saw that Rav Avin was meticulous in Shabbos and Hanukkah candles, but here we were meticulous in one. So he was the only zeicha to have one great descendant. The Bisu de Rav Yosef, the wife of Rav Yosef, she waited until the last minute to light her Shabbos candles. Why did we wait till the last minute? Her husband. When the cloud of the pillar of fire left in the day, the Amud Eish Laila, there was no time difference between when the first one was the day fire was there and the night fire came and it left. It was instantaneous to switch over between the night fire and the day fire and the night fire, either way. For like Yomi, if that's the case, the idea would be to be prepared in advance. Don't wait. There should be some gap, so to speak. We should do it early. Hahu Saba often in the Gemara is Eliyahu Hanavi. Right? It's Erev Pesach. He's resting up because he's going to be very busy. You see, so the real way to do it is Yekish. Not too early, not too late. Do it at the right time. don't wait till the last minute Erev Shabbos. Don't light before the Zman. You light in the Zman you're supposed to. Like the Yekes like to say, right? Early is also not on time. Right? Early is not on time. Here's the source in the Gemara for early is not on time.
This is my hunger bells. Can they tell a good time?
Rav said, the Rachim Rabban, the person who loves rabbis, you're going to have children Rabban. Why? Because if you love rabbis, you're treating them like family. You're treating them commentaries, and once you treat them like family, then like your own children, then you'll have children that are like them. Rabban, and one who honors rabbis, Rabban, you're going to have son-in-laws that are rabbis. If you fear Rabbanim, you give. I guess it's another way of honoring them by giving them deference. He himself will become a great rabbi. We love Barhaki, but let's say you're not holding by it, right? You're too absorbed in your business. You don't have time to learn. But nonetheless, you fear rabbis. When you open your mouth, they'll say, "Wow, that guy's very, very convincing." You'll take your words seriously because you showed fear and deference, I guess, to the words of the rabbis. We said in the Mishnah, Lo b'shemen sarfe, we said you can't use burnt oil. What's wrong with what's burnt oil? My shemen sarfe. This is to light your Hanukkah menorah. No, it's to light your Shabbos candles. It's truma that became tameh. My correlation shemen say, why is it called oil that is burnt? Because the only thing you can do with it is burn it. You're not allowed to eat it. It has to be burned. Shabbos is my time alone, so why can't I use it on Shabbos? What am I doing on Shabbos with my oil, my tameh truma oil? I'm burning it. So what? I'm doing the right thing. Because you know it has to be burned, you'll be looking, did I really burn it all up? And maybe it's not drawing so well, you'll fix the candle in order to get rid of it all, because you know it's supposed to be burnt. And therefore, since you know it's supposed to be burnt, the rabbis made a takana that you can't use it on Shabbos. I'm allowed to light a fire. I'm allowed to. Maybe on Yantif I can use tameh truma oil for my candle. What about the Mishnah? You can't use it on Yantif. What happened to your reason? You told me the reason is maybe you'll fix the fire. On Yantif I'm allowed to fix the fire. So what's the problem with having tameh truma oil in my Shabbos candle? Yeah, but Yantif and Shabbos, like this coming Yantif, we have 2 days Yantif, and then Shabbos, you mix it up. You have this oil, not all, you won't remember that Shabbos oil is a Yantif oil. You're going to mix it up, and since you mix it up, the rabbis made a gezerah for Yantif Atu Shabbos. You'll use it on Shabbos. We don't worry about him fixing the candle. That's not a problem. What's the problem? Erev Shabbos. Worry about Yantif that falls out on Erev Shabbos, like this Pesach, right? Because in the end, we have a halacha deraisa that we don't burn kachim on Shabbos. We don't burn kachim on Shabbos. The truma is a shtick kachim, type of a lower level, but a type of kachim, and we don't want you to burn it on Shabbos. Therefore, we ask you to burn it on Yantif as well, because Yantif could lead into Shabbos, and you could still burn the oil from truma. But from the fact that the Mishnah was talking about Shabbos in the beginning, you can't tell me it was really meant Yantif. Shabbos and Yantif are separate in the Mishnah. How can you put it together? The Gemara says it's like this. My timer Amar. It's a my timer. It's an explanation. My timer in Malik and Yantif. What's the reason we don't let it on Yantif? We don't burn it on Yantif, right? Because maybe you'll come to burn it on Shabbos. Let's go over the daf a few lines. We have a proof for Rav Chizda. Anything that says you're not allowed to use on Shabbos, you can use to light on Yantif any type of oil, even though it was usher for Shabbos, because on Yantif you're allowed to burn stuff. If you check the candle, it's no problem. What do we say? But you can't use chutz with shemen sreifa because you can't use shemen sreifa. You're not allowed to burn kachim on Yontif either. Am I supposed to say anything about Chanukah in benching when I bench? Kevin the Merabanan. Look, Chanukah is only min Merabanan. Maybe I don't add it to benching, which is the Raisa. But it's a revelation of a miracle. Maybe I have to add it to benching. Now we don't know the answer to this because we all bench on Chanukah. We know we do say it, but this is Gemara's thinking. We don't add it to benching. But if you wanted to add it, where would it be added? You add it in Noidelecha, which is the second bracha in benching, which is where we do add it. Right? It's added in Noidelecha. About Yehuda Ikla Rabbi Rava. Yehuda went to Rava's house. He wanted to add it in the same place where we had Ritzei for Shabbos or El Yalav Yavle. He wanted to add a special statement about Chanukah. No, it's like in davening. In Shemona Esrei, where do we add the prayer for the mention of Chanukah? We add it by modim. We don't add it by in the middle of Ritzei. Right? Also, it should be in the place of Haidah, but Noidelecha is a place of thanks. Here, boy, say,
Okay, shkoyach.